This podcast is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Mics are hot, boys.
Whoa.
Kenta Kimura, Bradley Leuthner, in one room. I'm honored. I'm gonna start blushing, dude. Cheers, you guys.
Yep. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. We're at the Bassmaster Classic here at the Hilton Inn. Just so you guys know, I had to. I told them I'd sell them some rooms to let us get this conference room. So if you guys are in the Fort Worth area, check out the Hampton Inn. Yeah, fuck that up already. All right. So we can maybe use the conference room next time they come here. But Kenta Kimura, I think I have so much respect for people who are willing to go to a different country and put themselves out there like you have. And I guess you should just be very proud of all you've accomplished. And I guess I have more questions than we'll have time for today.
All right.
So when did you originally come to the U.S. from Japan?
That was back in 2000. No, the first time I've been here was like 2002. It's been a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I figured we needed money.
Oh,
Fishing,
yeah.
right? So I just tried, walks my ass off and trying to get money to come back.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I did. And I started out with fishing Coike side.
Sure.
Yeah.
What was it like when you first got here? Was that intimidating?
That was Okeechobee.
Okay.
Yep.
Was it awkward, or did you know some people over here that kind of helped you?
I didn't know nobody. So that was the coolest thing is I met the first guy at the boat ramp is the guy I still hang around with.
Really?
Yep.
That's
Wow.
so cool.
Yep. Because I didn't know how to ask to take me out. So all I knew was just take me out. finally found the right person to do it.
Sure.
So yeah. Since then, I was behind his boat all the time.
Yeah.
And learning how you guys fishing. So before then, I was just a finesse guy.
Sure.
I didn't know what to do with top water or nothing like that.
Sure. So like, what was that like then? I guess how much different was it when you initially came over here, and like what? I guess how. I have so many questions. I don't even know where to start.
I mean, I was used to be fishing at a Japanese tournament, which is not as big like you guys have, but it's we used to have a pretty good competition over there. So yeah, I learned a lot of finesse fishing back then, but since I got here, everything changed. So I'm more like hybrid person than the other Japanese anglers.
Well, I've noticed that with some of like the baits you designed. You designed some badass power fishing baits, dude.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how we had a really good time back in between 2005 to 2015 or late 2010, whatever. I mean, we had a really good time in Lake Beaver. That's the time how I get turned into the power fishing, because we had a full of the hydro in the lake, and we was fishing for like 30 plus pounds every day. So that's how I got turned into the power fishing.
I think I just had a light bulb go off. So you brought Japanese techniques over here and probably taught a lot of that to Americans, but it sounds like you learned American techniques, kind of put your own twist on that, brought that back to Japan. Am I understanding that?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Your dang bridge, the biggest one I've ever seen. That's awesome, dude. I'm just wondering how much harder. So I've taken a few Japanese classes, enough to know that it's going to take me a dang while.
Yeah, it's
to learn
completely
Japanese.
different. So
my
you
God.
almost have to reset it.
Sure.
Your mind.
Yeah, so like is English, I feel like English makes no sense a lot of times too. Like we have our own issues.
Japanese
over
don't
here.
make sense either.
Hey, well, sounds like we're all human beings.
All in the same boat.
And when did you first meet Bradley here?
When was that? What was it, 2 years ago?
A couple of years ago,
3
yeah.
years ago? Yep.
Cool, man. Cool. So, not answering that. So I guess, talk to me about, like, fishing pro. It's expensive to do here if you're American.
Right. I mean, that's for everybody.
Yeah,
In the whole
it's
world.
an expensive sport.
Yeah.
So, what are some things that you did to kind of make your way with that? Because tournament winnings are tough, and you've seen quite a bit of success with it, but you also know it's an unforgiving road.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially now. I mean, the more younger guys keep coming up.
They're good.
They're dang good.
They're dang good.
So,
They're dang good.
I'm happy able to see that happen, because we needed a young star like that.
That's a fact. Yes.
So, I'm not complaining about sculpting at all.
No, sir.
We need it. And that's just a part of the game. So, but, really, we got more experience about fishing, so we better find something new.
Well, you think we could figure out scoping, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have time and the money. To
Yeah.
do it, but we just gotta ass kicked, right?
Yeah, we got our ass kicked, but I feel like we're coming back into our own here, and I think like you're gonna see different ways of scoping, like more of a power scoping going on.
That's really the way I was in the past 5-6 years. I didn't change anything the way I was fishing, but I like the scoping because we don't miss the cast anymore. We don't have to pan cast. That's a big factor to me, and also, I mean, more technique. We learn it.
Well, it's like if there's a new technique you want to learn and you can actually see how the fish respond to it. Like you learn that technique so much quicker and what they want to do with it. I mean, I think we've seen that with glide baits. Like if you didn't have scope with glide baits, I mean, you wouldn't know if that big one's following it, if I should twitch it harder, quit twitch. You know what I'm saying?
You used to have to throw that bait for a week.
Yeah, it's like
to figure them out.
Right.
Now. So you know what to store. That's a big factor. And also, here's the thing. I mean, so many people worry about, banner scalping and whatever, but it's already changed. The first year we started scoping, that was so much easier than what it is now.
Isn't that something? And it's still kind of easy in Minnesota, so I'm like...
Some places it is, but where we have a tournament, did you see that somebody wrecked on the Makey anymore?
what?
On the minnow.
Or the Makey just straight down.
Yeah, you don't see that very often.
They don't like the bottom of the boat no more.
No,
I mean, we used to could just drop.
That's crazy.
But now we have to cast it and make a trick somehow.
Yeah.
I feel like to me, a lot of fish does not want to see bait fall anymore.
Right.
So you got to make it a longer cast than it was, and you kind of got to trick them different way. So
well, Japan's kind of like a glimpse into the future, right?
I mean, it's a little different. I mean, of course, we got probably 100 times more pressure than what you guys have. But
and I've listened to you speak to that before, but for our listeners, I guess, could you speak to that pressure and like what it's like over in Japan and why it is the way it is?
Even when we had a Sakamoto shad in our home pond, we caught them before scope was coming out.
Yeah.
We caught them. Okay, I mean, we only had a 2D sonar, but we still caught them.
That's crazy.
But by the time the scope show up, it was too late.
Really?
Way too late. I mean, we could catch a little bit, but not as like what it's supposed to be.
So right now in the U.S., shaking a jig head minnow over a bass is so hot right now.
Oh yeah.
Is that in the past gone in Japan, like where it's not as a thing anymore?
I mean, you can still catch them doing that, but fish has to be dialed in pretty good.
Fish has to have one eye and be pretty stupid.
Yeah, it has to be. I'll be honest with you. So, I spent all winter last year at the Lake Biwa, which everybody knows where they're at now.
Right. No
so
secrets.
Everybody knows. And I know that's a big one, but be honest, that's the hardest fish ever.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And getting harder and harder.
I want to. Can you compare it to a leech like smallmouth? Are they comparable? How hard they are to catch?
So you guys said Reach Lake is a level 3. Lake Biwa might have been level 9.
Whoa. What's level 10?
I don't even know if I could catch a bass,
10,
Bradley.
We have a level 10, which is a Kihala.
Okay.
One of the small lizard over there. Got a bunch of big ones. The Cecil was told me he wants to go. I said, well, you're probably not going to like it. Dude, it's some big one, but not like the way they look.
No, I want to go with Kenta and Biwa.
Yeah, dude.
That's.
Yeah.
I will go past that water. I don't need to catch one. I just want to watch you work, bro.
Yeah, I mean we can do that, and I will show you a bunch of double digit on the scope, but
I'd love to see that.
yeah, you can see it, but that's really hard.
Do you got like some crazy eel or something I could use for live bait and toss it out there?
I mean, I'm pretty sure you can catch them live bait.
Oh,
that's what kind of surprised me. I mean, them double digit or bigger fish, they can really tell either.
Hey guys, wanted to share with you a sneaky little trick I found when I was at Thorn Brothers the other day. This is a new Japanese bait that came out, And this falls into the gravity trend category. You guys have maybe heard of a Depths cover scat or a Yamamoto Yamatanuki. These are weighted soft plastics that have proven to be very effective at catching bass, not only just in general, but especially pressured fish. Well, this new deal that just came over from Japan, Thorn Brothers got these in. It's called the AK Punch. It's made by Issei. And you'll kind of notice it looks a little funny. Looks like a scrotum, if you will, or some private parts. And they make two sizes here. I've got a 2.4 and a 2.8. Thorn Brothers has both of these on the shelves, and that's what I picked up. And rumors of a 3.3 inch coming out. But the big thing with this bait is it's completely different than the cover scat and Yamatanuki in terms of its action. So looking at a close-up, this is the 2.8 here. What you're going to see is it's got this voluptuous tail there that looks like a ball sack. And what that tail does is it actually vibrates when you pull it. So think of that weighted soft plastic having a nice erratic fall, and then when you pull it, it's going to vibrate your rod like a chatterbait. So you're putting a Ned rig size plastic into cover and generating reaction strikes from it. But looking at the Japanese and how they're rigging it over in Japan, something I wanted to share is they're adding a nail weight into the sack, and they're putting it right there just like that. So that's a 16th ounce nail weight you're going to put, you know, perpendicular in the scrotum there. And what that does is it's going to cause this bait to backslide, okay? And it's also going to increase that vibration when you pull it away from that fish. So if you think about it, you're able to skip that up under a dock. It's going to backslide pretty erratic. It's going to fish heavier than a cover scat. And then when you pull that, there's a fish behind it, you pull it away, and then it's going to fall right back into that fish. So if you're looking to pick up probably one of the sneakiest bite-gettingest lures out there, Thorn Brothers just got these in. It's the AK Punch from Issei. Pick you up a 2.4 or a 2.8. Remember that nail weight trick, and then there's various hooks you can use. So right here we've got a screw lock hook, so that's actually going to tear up less plastic. So if you don't want that nose to tear on the bait as much, definitely recommend that Masayuki hook from Decoy. It'd be a 1/0 for the 2.4 and a 2/0 for the 2.8. Or else the KG worm from Decoy, you're going to go down in a size, so number 1 and then a 1/0. So the 2.4 versus the 2.8. So the 2.4, the baby size one, is designed to fish on spinning gear. So get you a Veselka Fishing and Custom, you know, medium or medium light action, up to 12-pound test fluorocarbon on this one. And the 2.8, you know, you can fish on a lighter bait caster up to 16-pound fluorocarbon. So consider, you know, this your spinning rod version, this your bait casting rod version. And that rod I like for this bait casting version is going to be Veselka Fishing and Customs MB736. So that's a lighter, medium, heavy 7-foot rod. So get you some of that, some 15-pound fluorocarbon, teabag you some bass this year. Pick you up the AK Punch from Thorn Brothers today, and don't tell nobody.
Wow.
Either live or not.
Right.
And the water record was kind of on live bluegill.
Yeah.
That was a live bluegill.
I'm just going to move that a little closer. You're just fine.
That
You're
was
just
on
fine.
the live bluegill, so that means.
So they can, because this is the myth, right? People are like, bass have a brain the size of a pea. They're not
100%.
smart, but they are. So
they
can
are.
you, well,
Especially
why
big.
and how and how does that work? Like, how many times does it take before they get conditioned, and then what does that mean? Is it just timing thing, or like they literally
Yeah,
look
of course,
at
the
that thing and
timing
say,
thing,
no.
like when we get drunk, we're going to be stupid, right?
Hell
That's
yeah.
the same deal.
That's a good analogy.
That's really good. So
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then, so he did just a normal condition.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the fish in the high pressure place, especially in the Lake Leo Creek Lake, they're feeding at night.
that makes sense. I
Yep.
see a lot of Instagram posts of shore fishermen catching big ones.
Yeah, I mean,
night.
it's,
Yeah.
And I can't understand a word they're saying, but I see, like, that makes sense. That
even
makes
though they went into the commercial fisherman trap at the nighttime, eat them, and they move it off first thing in the morning. So they know what they're doing.
So, like, Are you guys releasing the fish and just not telling anybody that you're releasing them? Because are you not allowed to release them, right?
No,
You're
there's
supposed
some places. It just depends on where you're at.
Okay.
And there's no penalty, to be honest. So
okay.
do what
Okay.
you got to do.
I just noticed in like the videos, you never see them release the fish, and I'm wondering, is it
They
because
just cut it.
Okay.
Or not supposed to say. So
I
just
got you.
cut it. But
So is
fuck with it. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Hey, fair enough, dude. Like, so you're supposed to kill them, though, right?
No.
Okay,
No.
good. I
But
was about to say.
there's a thing. Here's the easiest thing to explain to you guys what the Japanese people thinks, or they're not bass fishermen. What do you guys do to snakehead here in America?
Eat them.
Yeah, snakehead po' boy.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
good.
So-
Are they? Have you actually ate one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we eat it. No, it's good eating.
I don't
but-
touch them things.
Yeah, and
I mean, they're quite
they're-
not
and
as
they're
good.
supposed. You guys are supposed to kill them, right?
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's the same way. So
Okay.
so you guys love bass so much, but not everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You would think they would understand like that it's good for your industry over there.
Yeah,
and
but industry versus nature is always competing
I
anywhere in the
gotcha.
world.
Yeah, you're not
and
wrong.
you're not allowed to take the species from other country and let them grow. Simple.
That makes sense.
Really not,
But they like you catch a goby on the Great Lakes, they don't want you to kill it
because they
because there's too many of them.
too
Yeah.
many of them, and also could provide the smallmouth fishery.
Right.
So there is some bright side and bad sides. Always is. So I'm. It's so much ridiculous talking about. Just depends what your perspectives are.
Yeah,
what
that
you
makes
want to
sense.
protect it.
Sure.
So I mean, to me, of course, bass is the number one thing. But to a lot of older guys, it's not.
Sure. Are they more trout guys? Is trout the thing, or what's
yeah,
the
a
thing
little
over
bit,
there?
a little bit. But the
You don't have
freshwater-
walleye over there. So
No. So
That's what our older
yeah, we
guys catch.
really not have that much target fish in freshwater, but we had a saltwater all the way around. So,
That's cool, man.
but bass fishing. The reason why I'm a bass fisherman because bass is only species can change the way they feed. Completely 180 degree.
So what you're saying is a bass will change how they
How they
live
how
life.
they live.
And
Even if you put them in the pond, if no matter what they grow up with, if they grow up with a shad or something to eat, but when you put the pond, they might start chasing the bugs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's
They survive.
That's only fish can do it because they're a freshwater species.
Sure.
So it's an ocean species. They can't do it. If you put them in somewhere, they not have their main food, they'll
Yeah.
just die.
Sure. Other freshwater species will change and adapt to their ecosystem.
Yeah,
and
the
pressure,
especially
too.
bass does, but big time
I wonder why that is.
because that's the only way they could survive.
Crazy.
Yep.
I'm just wondering what that bass is thinking.
Yeah, it's but
How about no?
with my experience, they don't kill them all. Like some of the small pond I know of it has a bunch of big ones in it, but I still see the bluegill.
Oh, sure.
So it's kind of like almost like a lion in the South Africa.
Okay.
Yep. They
Yep.
can be eating. I mean, they're not killing an old gazelle.
Right.
That's the same way. They just counted how many. And
Yeah,
they wait until they really need it.
Yeah.
That-
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Like lions won't decimate a gazelle population because they need them gazelles
Yeah.
for the future. So
Yeah.
they wait till them gazelles have some
So
kids.
I'm
then
pretty sure they
take-
know which one they're gonna eat next.
Really?
Pretty sure that's what the bass is doing, especially in a small pond.
Sure.
So I learned a lot about it at pond fishing instead of lake fishing because
Sure.
I know which one I'm fishing for. And in the Passus pond, they were definitely trying to eat the bluegill. But
Oh, yeah.
other than that, they would not touch it because they didn't want to kill them all.
Sure. Do they have bluegills everywhere in Japan for the most
They
part?
used to, but it's kind of weird situation right now. We start losing the crawfish population and the bluegill population.
Really?
Of course, bass do. So that might be some chemical from rice field, or I don't know for
Okay.
sure. I'm not 100%, but it's got to be something going on.
Well, I would think like that country should would want to step in and increase the fish population.
Right.
Like that would make sense, right?
Yeah, but over in Japan, there's no way we can complain about rice field because that's all we're eating.
That makes sense.
So I told everybody, hey, don't even compete it. Don't even.
That makes
try.
sense. Your major industry is reliant on, that comes
rice
first to
field.
them. Yeah.
Without that, we're gonna kill the people, right?
Wow. Yeah.
We can't complain because of the fishing.
Yeah, we're not trading people for bass today.
Exactly.
No.
So,
I mean, I'd consider it.
Yeah, there's a few.
Yeah, so we're seeing all these new techniques come over from Japan, and I think you could probably speak to that better than anybody. I'm super into that stuff. I've been playing with a lot of it. I caught a big smallmouth on a Coike on Mille Lacs last year.
Oh, really?
The dice.
Yeah. Don't say too much.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, but yeah, it's kind of been a big Coike and dice or imokimushi or whatever.
Yep.
I mean, that lot of hairs thing been pretty big over in Japan, and it's kind of very general way to fish anymore.
Sure.
Especially for smallmouth. So
Yeah. So the dice makes the most sense out of the things we just discussed.
right.
Makes sense. Little baby crawfish, little
Right.
baby bug
And
breathing around.
don't have to be exactly imitated.
Right.
Yeah, you're
Right.
thinking about reality. What the heck is a spinnerbait?
Yeah.
It's just a wire.
Or a jig. Like people thought a Coike was weird looking, but if they ever look at their jig when it hits the bottom, it looks like a Coike.
Right. Yeah, just a-
and we've been catching them on that
Sea
since the
urchin.
'80s, man.
Sea urchin is what it looks like.
Sure.
So it's. I mean, when we started throwing, I mean, we didn't know what it is, but for some reason, those pressure fishes eat them.
Yeah.
So they tired of seeing it what looked like bait.
Well,
when
my
they
eyes
saw
were
it.
opened on that cover scat, and I don't know how much you had to do with the development of that, but I love that bait.
I didn't do nothing, but that's literally all people buy in between the late 2010 and the early, probably until last couple of years.
Yeah. So that gravity bait thing, I don't think it's taken off over here yet, and it seems like it's full-fledged where in Japan.
Yeah, because the Lake Bill's got so many rock piles and stuff, and there's tons of guiding people. And once you let them throw the let a jig or drop shot, you're gonna get hung up every time, and you have to go around and get it.
Yeah.
But with that way, you don't have to. And for some reason, they eat it too.
For some reason, they eat it, man.
Yeah, they do.
choke that thing
Definitely.
like a big
Definitely.
stogie.
But the only best thing is take 20 minutes every cast. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah.
I've done really well with it in shallow water, and I guess I know some guys who do well with it deep offshore, and I guess I haven't got that going. But
I mean, like you said earlier, everybody know where they're at. Which log piles hold a double digit.
Yeah.
So when it came out, that's one of the guy I know that starts on, and I mean he caught every one of them
cool.
in the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, sure.
Because everybody had to do it.
Yeah.
But now they're tired to see something falling down in front of them face, so we got to do some different trick.
Sure.
So I'm always trying to find something new, but
Oh yeah, absolutely.
they're grown up quicker than we are. So.
Have you thrown that AK punch yet? I hate talking about it, but
AK punch, you talk about that little.
yeah, the nutsack.
No, I never done it, but I know that's good on smallmouth, isn't it?
Largemouth too.
Really? But only thing I'm kind of wonder how you rig it up. It's Texas rig, but a little tiny offset.
Yeah, so number 1 or 1/0.
Yeah, that's a little tiny.
It is, but they just came out with a 2.8 and a 3.3.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
You got to put a 16th or 3/64th nail weight through the sack to get it to. It'll vibrate your rod, and then
So you
backslide back into that fish.
That's pretty interesting. You got to have a spinning rod.
The little one spinning rod 12-pound test is kind of the max variance on that, and the 2.8 fishes on 16 in a bait caster. It fishes a lot like that 2.5. Fishes like a heavier cover scat. Is
Right,
the best way I
right.
could describe it.
Yeah.
But I figured
So
you'd
you're
mess
just
with that.
trying to make it a sinking flat or backslide.
Backslide. So the nail weight will help it backslide and kind of. It's more of a fast, erratic cover scat fall, I would say.
Yeah, with angle it does.
Yeah, and then
Sure.
you let it kill, and then
Just
you do,
pull up.
and then you go, and then it falls right back into that thing's face. And I've just never seen a bait that can do that. What
Right,
that thing
right.
can do. And to me, the cover, it's a really good complementary probably deal with the cover scat because you got your do nothing, then
Yeah.
and then you've got your.
Yeah.
So cover scat's the swim jig. That's the chatterbait for
That
you know.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I think you're gonna continue to see like that trend progress over here. And I guess I just love picking your brain on that stuff. But
Right. Yeah, I'll try it. I never owned one.
well, I'll get you one today. Yeah. So what's on the horizon then? Like where is fishing going here, do you think? Is more Coike stuff like that?
I already caught fish on doing that, and I don't know. I always liked the wobbleheads fishing has been pretty big over there because you can go on a much heavier weight, and a lot of the fish we've been seeing them suspending is now stuck on the bottom, right?
Yeah.
A lot of them is.
Yeah.
So we got to do something with them. So the wobblehead, we're not just straight reaching. We're just still doing like Sakamata, but we've been catching them doing that.
That I think is interesting. So what you're saying is because of the suspended fish thing, they're sick of getting caught, so they're going to
Yeah.
get tighter to bottom.
Yeah.
So you're implementing new techniques to maximize your efficiency. They're
Yeah.
wobble head. I've seen like that Zappu head with the weight in the middle, bottom strolling.
Yeah, I'm doing my yogi hook.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I got a
those are
bunch
the-
of those, dude. That's
Yeah.
sweet.
So I normally use like 5/8 on 20 foot or less.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I would go to reactive
Oh, yeah.
quicker, but
If you can do it quicker, do it quicker.
that's what I've been working on. But that's pretty much my secret deal anymore, because the things changing so quick now.
I'm
in
learning.
the past few years.
I mean, the only like what you see with all this forward facing, the only place the fish really are safe is the bottom foot. You can follow a 10-pounder around. If that thing decides to go down, you're never gonna see it again. So that's kind of their safe zone, which they're probably getting back to how they used to be before scope.
That's already happened in Texas.
Yep.
A lot of places.
Sure.
Even the classic, I've been watching it.
Yep.
A lot of guys can see it.
Yeah,
As soon as he hook it, it pops up.
Yeah, that's just crazy. So the Coike, and we don't need to give away the whole kitchen. Maybe just a snack. How about that?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not
Just
making
one-
I'm not
one-
a secret person. so
Just
don't-
one crawfish, not 3 pounds.
By the way,
Yeah.
I had some crawfish. You had some crawfish down here? It was
yeah.
good. Right down the street, they got
Really?
crawfish. spot.
Really?
Yeah, we can go there after.
I
Come
bet
on.
pretty expensive here.
Oh,
but
everything's
you can get way
expensive
cheaper
here.
down there.
Oh yeah, it's
that
way
way.
cheaper catching them yourself.
We're gonna do a little crawfish. I'm gonna do a crawfish boil for Kenta in the next Open.
Yes, dude.
That'll be awesome.
I might fly down for that.
I would.
Yeah, it sounds like I need to. But that Coike thing, it seems like they're throwing it on a leaderless drop shot. Zappu makes that right.
That's
you
most
tailspin.
popular way to rig it, because I mean the hook cast is the one I offer them to make it, because the original Coike is like real tiny, about the same size as the dice stick.
Yep.
So dice, the reason why dices came out because Coike was quit selling for a little while.
Yeah.
So that's his whole story. So the Coike was real original.
Original.
Yep.
Right, and then the field side came
Yeah, it's
out.
been out for like probably 15 years.
And that's what's
It's a
crazy,
long
dude.
time
It's
ago.
crazy.
Think about that.
And the people used to use it for just a side fish because we couldn't make it work when it's brine fishing.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we didn't have a scope back then.
Sure.
So I was asking, guy owns a Hideup, "Man, what about just making, just as big like my knuckle?
Yeah.
Because I can just make it find them.
Big.
Yeah, because I'm not really finesse guy, so I need a bait caster.
Dang right. Heck yeah.
And hook cast. That's why we named it hook cast, because
Sure.
you can hook cast it. So that's the only size I'm really use it.
Sure.
Of course, a lot of people like 17 too. But
Yeah.
the whole key is, what I figured is we can't stop that thing. We got to keep it moving, because
Yeah.
once you stop it, they won't eat it.
Sure.
You
Makes
you
sense.
just got to keep it moving. Because
So,
the whole key is, to me, you got to kind of
teeter-totter
Yeah.
it, kind of, right?
Yep.
I call it a teeter-totter. It makes sense. You got the weight here, pulling it.
Yeah. So what I like to do, I I mean, a lot of people like to rig it up with a drop shot weight, but I like to add a wobble head in front of it.
Hey guys, Aaron Teal here with Veselka Fishing and Customs here, and excited to talk to you about my new signature series rod, the Puppet Master. My #1 confidence technique is by far offshore power finesse fishing, so we've spent a lot of time and a lot of years creating the perfect bottom contact power finesse rod, specifically designed to fish 3/8 to 3/4 ounce football jigs, tubes, swing heads, dragging a swim bait on the bottom, and any bait that you need to manipulate with your hand and land that fish. This rod is perfect for it. The big thing that we found that was an issue with other rods is they were either too crisp and sensitive, where they were too fast, or they weren't quite sensitive enough and they had the right action. So what Dane built with this rod is the most sensitive bottom contact rod I've ever held in my hands. But the big thing is, on a long cast, it's got the power to drive that hook home, but more importantly, it's got a parabolic action that's going to bend deep down in the rod to make sure that, let's say, football jig or goby tube isn't popping that smallmouth's mouth open and keeping that bait in the back of their head where it belongs, allowing you to have increased leverage and landing more bass. You're going to have to pry this rod from my cold dead hands. This is the Puppet Master. You can find it on veselkafishing.com or at Waypoint Angler Supply. Check them out.
Really?
Front of the big walking hook. Like
Really?
That's why you can have more swing.
That is a
That,
nugget.
that was too much.
That is a nugget. No, that's great, man.
So you
That
kind of pop it like that, right across to the bottom. And
so you're
best
doing
thing-
it lower in the column?
Yep. Oh yeah. Never trying suspending fish at
Sure.
all. So just keep walking on the bottom.
Uh-huh.
Just keep moving.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Noted.
No matter you feel and bite, just keep doing it.
Really?
That's why you get a hook.
So I watched a video of this guy doing the Coike elastomer straight on a drop shot, and he was doing that
Yeah,
all the way
just-
back, and drop shot leader was this big.
Yeah,
And it
well-
didn't make much sense to me.
Yeah, but some of the place in Lake View, we got so much weeds on the bottom.
That makes sense.
I figured that's why you had a big drop shot away, but you guys got a more cream at bottom here, so you don't
do,
really
yeah.
have to. So I would say just football weight is my favorite way to do
Cool.
it. And 20-pound test for full cast and maybe 15-pound test for 17 millimeter.
Sure.
And that's it. That's simple.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
just keep trying to keep it down the bottom.
Uh-huh.
Using it, more. Trying to give it more swing.
A free action on the
Yeah.
bottom, and that thing moves a lot of water.
Yeah. And once you stop it, they can see it. But once you keep moving, they're curious what it is. I think that's why.
That's what I noticed when you throw it on a boulder with a bunch of smallmouth. They would just get that. Like I would get no reaction to techniques. Throw that thing in, and start.
Yeah. And the reason why I like that thing, because you don't get hung up, even the brush pile. You can
Sure.
get through it.
Yeah.
Whereas it's just a wacky hook, because all the spike is like kind of like weed guard.
Weed guard, yeah.
So that's pretty much why I'm throwing this thing.
I'm a pretty novice to this thing. Do you? So if you're saying it's like a weed guard, do you have issues hooking up and keeping them on, or no?
That's a good question.
Not really, because it's like kind of like plastic,
Okay.
just elastomer material. So once you reel it hard enough,
Yeah.
you're gonna get a hook, right?
Okay.
But all the spikes is kind of like just a perfect
yeah.
hardness.
I was just wondering how that would.
Well, just with bass, like, and how they get conditioned to things, right? I mean, nobody's ever thrown that twangy of a jig skirt before. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's why I-
guitar string twangy.
Yeah, be honest, I don't like the jig skirt at all because
Sure.
it hung it up.
Yeah.
Versus the Coike has more vibration.
So you can get it through shit.
Yeah, way better. And more vibration. But it's not for the drop shot. I can tell you that right now.
Sure, sure.
Because that thing, like I said, you got to keep it moving.
Yeah, yeah.
Front of face. But so that's
It's a nugget.
between dice and Coike, which in my opinion is totally different bait.
I would
Yeah.
agree 100%.
Yeah, it looks like it, but the dice is going down.
Yeah.
That's why you can catch them on drop shot. But the Coike is going up.
Yeah, it
It's a floating
floats, yeah.
material. So
Well, I like throwing the dite weightless. Cut. But like what Taku was doing on Smith last year, and it seems like this is going to be kind of a continuing trend. obviously he wasn't shaking a jig head and a minnow much. He was using that hard bait, and then he was leaderless drop shotting a dice, but he was pulling it up higher in the column. And I guess that I've noticed that, like, you don't catch them on a minnow, a smallmouth, you throw a little cover scat in there, and they eat it. Like,
well, if you would take it, I mean, I've caught a lot of fish on dice the last couple of years, and if you move a dice real quick and you watch it, it looks just like a bait fish. The tentacles of it, like, it emulates a bait fish really good, which is crazy. It's a cube with tentacles.
I hate talking about it, Bradley.
I
hate talking about
like,
it.
The guys in Minnesota goes crazy with dice, right?
It's cheating,
that's the
Kenta.
biggest.
It's cheating.
Yeah, I know. That is the biggest community. Hard of
it's
dice
cheating.
working so good.
Dude, if you can see a smallmouth and get that thing to it,
They will eat it.
every fucking time. They might spit it out.
What about Imakimusi or?
The guys love that. You can only throw so many baits, right? So I have to choose my battles.
Right.
I haven't thrown that bait a bunch, but I've got buddies that love that bait.
Right,
And you're
right.
fishing that like a cover scat, right? Yeah. I know the floater guys are doing a little Ned rig with that too, and I haven't never tried that.
Ned rig? Was it dice? Huh?
No, with the Imokamushi, the little one, floater. Yeah.
I think Neko will be the deal.
That's, that seems to be just a great technique, almost like a jig. It's never probably going to go away.
Right. Just one of a general way.
Yeah. But, like, what's crazy to me is how many different worm shapes you guys have over there.
Because, like I said, that's all people throw for smallmouth.
Sure.
For a long time.
I feel like Japan is, like, from what I see, like, you guys just throw anything at a wall and try to make it work, right? Like, it seems like in the U.S. people
I disagree.
No, it seems like in the U.S. people stay to their,
Sure.
like, the original worm, maybe change it a little bit. But Japan, like, they come out with some crazy stuff, and it works.
Yeah, but like tournament fishermen here.
Yeah, we're
we are
pretty...
making, I mean, especially the Japanese people, making it way too hard thinking. You know what I mean?
just keep it simple, right?
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not saying that Japan makes the best shit because of
You
that.
guys do.
I mean,
You
you
do.
gotta
Yeah.
have worm
Yeah.
still.
Yeah.
Especially if you go down south,
Yeah. Oh,
Florida.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can't fish without a Cinco, right?
Right.
So yeah, you also gotta know that. Don't be always thinking. I mean, I just been trying all the unique technique in the past, but only 10% of what I had worked.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if you get on something that no one
Yeah, no
else
one knows.
has,
That's how you win.
That's how you
can
win,
win,
and you
yeah.
win for a
So
while.
that's hard to make a combination. You know what I mean?
100%.
Even if he knows all the technique
Yeah.
from Japan. I mean, what pissed me off is Stoli.
Yeah.
Takumi won it. Right, that I would kind of quit on the Coike right before then. I'm like, dang.
You're talking that 42 pounds he caught on a fork?
Yeah.
It was funny. I think you dodged a bullet, though, because when the camera was in his boat, they wouldn't eat it.
Yeah.
What I like about Japan, though, you mentioned, like, throwing shit at a wall. It seems like they'll think outside the box, but everything has a purpose there. Everything that you guys make has, like, a genuine purpose.
And like you guys trying to several different bait for century, you know what I mean? And the worm is still there.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. We just have a different story.
Absolutely.
So, like bug thing is one of them, and cover scat is one of them. We just have a different story.
Right.
And
Yeah, I mean, you're starting to see it a lot more in the U.S. too. A lot of stuff that was maybe big or 80s, 90s is starting to make a huge comeback. Like it's revolving, and it's kind of like the Corky. Like, it was
History
nothing.
repeats itself, Brad.
Yeah, it wasn't much, and all of a sudden now it's one of the hardest things to buy in the U.S.
Well, not anymore, because they're making thousands of them now.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Selling
true.
them cheap.
That's true.
They
I
shouldn't
mean,
sell them so cheap.
It's the nature of our business.
That's American fishing business. We freaking get a good lure and ruin it.
And now you gotta look for something else. So.
Well, the good news is now, like in the 80s, right? You had a spinnerbait, a jig, a worm.
And chatterbait, when the chatterbait showed up, that was big.
And they're still catching them on that.
I know, and that's how it goes. Even a rig.
Right. But now there's so many lures. There's 1,000. So those fish are not seeing as much of like the
One thing.
And you can show them something different. You have 1,000 options. Like, you know, it's big. I don't think we've ever had more ways to catch a bass.
Yeah, so
It's
I always
confusing.
this is how I explain to people over in Japan. The bass, whichever the species, all the bass is hating us, right? Why would they want to eat the same bait every cast? You know what I mean?
Doesn't feel very good to do it.
Yeah, I mean they hate us. That's why, we
yeah.
just can't keep throwing the same bait forever. I mean, in some places you can, but you gotta wait to get until they get crazy or get some high.
Yeah.
I think that's why they still eat a beaver, because they forgot they ate it, because you can custom so hard with that ounce and a half weight.
But we've been beating up the fish in the past. I mean, everybody trying to do it. So of course they hate us. And also, was my opinion, a lot of fish like to eat bait is they are not able to spawn right.
Wait, what?
Because we can catch them so easy.
Yeah.
So they don't. So they quit fucking.
Yeah, or as soon as they started,
They became priests. They went to the what?
Yeah, they went to the nunnery.
So like, if you catch a bedfish in Japan, it'll just leave.
no, they're still there.
Okay.
But it's how many times the male's gonna get caught?
Oh yeah.
That's what I mean.
Over here, that's a problem
Yeah,
too.
it's the same
Yeah.
way.
I mean,
So, more scary. One's gonna have a baby, have a more chance to have a baby. Right?
That's a fact.
Except the guys, really going crazy every time.
He
you
don't
see him
care.
eating,
He's in there for the long
Take me
run.
for another round.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna say something, Brad?
I was just saying how bad our smallmouth get beat up. And that, like, smallmouth are the dumbest fish on a bed.
So easy to catch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean-
that's
It's almost not even bed fishing. We shouldn't even.
yeah. I
it's its
shouldn't
own-
even do it.
No.
Shouldn't. No.
I mean, it's fun for the 5 minutes, but
Yeah.
I mean,
It's so.
Other than that, you can just see and drop it. And they just start stuck around and eat it.
yeah, that's,
How hard is that? I'll be honest.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But what, like, from the Coike, I'm just wondering what's coming out of Pandora's box next. Like,
That's a good
a soft
question.
Coike and a Coike with minnow heads facing the ball as a bait ball, like
Yeah, we
eating
got-
a piece of poop.
Yeah, we got several more, but I just did not find it big deal yet.
Yeah.
I got a little thing. Still don't want to talk about it, but
yeah. You don't need to talk
No,
about that.
don't. But I do want to talk about. I have a lot of respect for you because you designed a lot of really awesome baits,
Yeah,
and that's
but
kind of something you're really
what
good at.
I design is mostly general bait. Like what I needed. Anyone in the country, like
Yeah.
squirrel, frog, stuff like that. Because I always want just something to be on. Not say number one in that category, but just high
Yeah. What's
quality
the
on it.
What's the bait that you've designed that you're like the most proud of? You would say.
I would say, Sugar K, Buster K, which is a frog.
Yeah.
That's what I started with. It's been like 15 years ago.
I like
And-
that Buster K.
Yeah, that's what I started with, and after that, I started designing the Evoke, which is all the crankbait model, and I'm still working on it. So
Sure.
really just all general version. And what I like about doing that, because that's all I'm gonna throw, because I know how it
Absolutely.
works. So yeah. Just not saying I like these because I'm more bust out than
Sure.
So I just can't say this is my favorite bait I designed and nothing like that. I just love it, all of them.
Oh, I bet you do. I just one you have a challenging one, or you maybe came up with something, one that you're more proud of, or one that was
Really
no
not,
biggie.
nothing like that to me. Yeah, it's all about
Sure.
past.
So are they still scoping in Japan?
Oh, they do. It's almost like you gotta have it, but.
But what are you seeing with scope in Japan, and how those fish are they responding negatively to it?
I mean, how the people start doing it? Not like the tournament guys start doing it. They are using a 62 transducer, get it set up on 30-foot range, so on a 1-inch jig head, right in front of face.
1 inch?
Yeah, I thought a 62 transducer is good for farther out, right?
Yeah.
But they're looking at it real close on 62. I'm like, what?
So they can get it
They can
on
see it.
their
I'm like,
noodle.
wow.
Well, it's a 1-inch bait. You ain't gonna see it if you got it shot out there. That's tiny.
Yeah, so they
tiny.
just get real close to it, set up like 30-foot head, and with a 1-inch.
That's so crazy to me. Every time I'm scoping, it seems like there's this range. And we're watching Fothergill right now, the classic's going on, and watching him is so crazy because like he scopes different than most.
Well, how they do it?
He's super close to him.
Yeah, his goals. I mean, most of the most of the
Get
guys
close.
good at it, pretty close.
Yeah, like
Yeah, they want to hit them right here.
It must be like like a lot of times I'll see them like that 80, 60
a lot of
foot
them say
range. And it's like, if you don't, you got to make this decision. Am I going to cast at it or am I going to wait to line up better on it? And all of a sudden I'm making the decision in my head and it's gone.
That's all the time that happens.
Yeah,
to
it's
me.
like gone. I'm like, how are these guys? But this year down on Rayburn, like I got way more patient with it. And I feel like I learned a lot on Rayburn with it. And you just wait it for the right fish, more or less. It's kind of
Okay.
like deer hunting. Like, no, that buck's not big enough. That one's too smart. like kind of categorizing them. And it seemed to help a lot for me, but because otherwise, all these lakes we fish down south, there's so much trash fish. So first you got to identify what it is, and that's not easy. Like
No.
and the shallower you get, the harder it gets.
Yes.
So it's like really picking. They're complaining a lot about it. Well, he ain't casting. Well, he's probably just lining it up just right so he can catch it, which sets him above, a lot of people.
Absolutely. Kenta, did I hear this correctly? Tournament anglers are just not even using scope?
Oh, they are.
Okay.
No, I told you they are using a 62 transducer.
Okay.
And looking at the close, just for find a 1-inch bait.
Wow.
So they're winning tournaments on 1-inch minnows.
Using a
Japan
big
right now.
saltwater transducer, shooting 30-foot ahead. I'm like, what?
I gotta be honest.
Well, some people. Not say to everybody.
If
but-
that's where it's going, that sucks. Like, I'd rather throw Coikes
Yeah.
on a bait caster.
Yeah, but I don't think it's gonna happen here. I mean, you can go
Oh,
that
the
way,
1-inch minnow?
or you can go that way, or either
Go
completely
big.
opposite.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you guys have way more potential in the country, and you guys got. I don't know how much time. I never measure it, but surely more than 1,000 times over the freshwater than we have in our country.
Yeah, and I remember
You can
you
imagine
saying
that.
something, I forget who it was, about every bass sees like a lure every...
Every 20 minutes.
Wow.
Or it just depends on what lake you're
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
But yeah. Or in my home, yeah, that's
So,
how it is.
In Japan,
Yeah.
every single bass sees a lure every 20 minutes.
Or it just depends on what lake you're talking
Yeah.
about.
On
But some of
average,
the popular
They're
hold.
highly
You could have told me
pressured.
an hour, and I'd be like,
You could have told me a day. I would
yeah,
have
dude,
like,
that's
whoa.
like,
Like,
what?
like even Lake Buell, that's one of my biggest.
Dude, that lake's huge. I've seen
yeah,
it.
it's exact same size as St. Clair.
Every fish in that lake sees a lure every day?
I'm not saying every fish, but every structure fish,
Uh-huh.
like big lock pile and
Yep.
stuff,
Yeah.
everybody know where it's at, and everybody know where they're at. Those fish are looking at bait every 20 minutes. So as soon as that lays up trolling motor, somebody's in behind waiting to cast.
So you're probably best off going after a holiday, right? Maybe people aren't fishing on the holiday. You get a quick start the next day.
Yeah,
You get
but
a few.
sometimes they get it crazy and hit the big crankbait like 10XD.
Sounds like you need to fish away from every piece of structure in that lake.
Yeah, I mean, we need a more structure, to be
Yeah.
honest, but we're not allowed to put the brush pile or stuff like that.
do it at night.
Well, that's still illegal.
I'll help you. We can do it together.
Yeah, I mean, not nobody does it. That's
You can
That's
say it
what
was
I'm
my
saying.
idea. They'll take me to jail, and I'll just need one of your friends to bail me out. But, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, but that's how it is in my home. But the fish is getting bigger.
Because Biwa's got like the Florida strains in it, right?
Yeah, they're mixed up a little bit. That's why.
And it's not as good at numbers. And then the other lakes have like,
So here's how the Lake Biwa is in the tournament. The guy wins gonna have between 35 to 40.
for 5.
Yeah.
That's
For
gangster.
5.
I
But,
like that.
Listen, the guy in the second might have 25 or 30.
Mm-hmm.
Guys in the third might have probably 15 pounds for 3 fish. Okay, here's the deal. Half of the field or more than half of the field will rank.
Blank.
Rank.
Every tournament.
Absolutely no bite. That's how it is. So,
Wow.
it looks good on the guy who win. Kind of like this.
Yeah,
classic,
yeah.
You know what I mean? The guy who wins is look good.
But it's tough to get a bite out here, right?
the guys
now.
in the bottom half, they do crap. That's how.
Well, when John Garrett's saying that, like, I can't believe I couldn't get bit and Trey fished my same area and got 3 bites. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't get that. And it's like when you have a guy like that saying that,
Yeah.
I don't think I could catch a bass in that lake, dude. Jesus.
I'm sure it's way harder than
looks
what it
so hard.
looks on
Yeah.
because you know the TV only shows bright side.
Yeah.
Not
know
CNN.
Like a Santee Cooper, I mean they're amazing fishly.
Yeah.
Of the big fish,
Yeah.
the guy who wins is gonna have a century.
Yeah.
But what about the guys in 51st?
He's not gonna have much. It's kind of
12 pounds a day.
Not even that.
It's not. I mean, even Kentucky was a lot like that
Yeah,
when
yeah.
we were there.
It was.
It looked really good for
And
some guys,
flight
but it was
size.
hard to get bit.
Oh, dude. In every place in Florida, the same way.
Yeah.
You guys wins gonna have big. But
most of the
I feel
guys
like
are
that. I mean,
crap.
completely different like than Pronek was.
Very much.
For sure.
That was crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how
Yeah,
more
that makes
bigger
sense.
gap than it is. That's what Japan is.
So, like, the big thing is, like, a fish that doesn't want to bite, you typically have to make that fish react. And but
I mean, not necessarily finesse.
right, but like, you're good at big bait, make them react, right?
You know what? Killer does good too. I mean,
Kyoya's-
he's really good on the ball seeing.
I got to take him to lunch last year, and that was just really cool talking to him.
But he's the most secret person than anybody.
That's a fact. I know he lied through his teeth to me, but I
Oh,
think he was
dude.
honest about a few things.
Yeah. But I'm gonna screenshot every time.
Dang right, dang
You made
right.
a top 10, and hey, what are you talking about?
That's awesome. That's awesome. But like these fish in Biwa, like, Florida fish, like, you can't make them react sometimes when they don't want to
dude.
bite. They don't want to bite.
That's the same way.
Okay.
And
mean,
Florida, huge tunnels, the Florida train in extremely clear water. Can you imagine how smart they will be? I mean, super smart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's one of the lake we have.
What is it?
Name's
The lake called?
Ikihala.
Okay, Ikihala.
That I mean, you can see double digit everywhere in the whole lake. And
What?
you will never get a bite until they get on the bed.
Oh my gosh.
Or, when they get something crazy, they'll bite, but not very often.
So what do you kind of resort to when you're faced with those conditions? What are you doing then? What do you go home and drink beer?
go
Yeah,
home.
that's the best idea.
Have some sushi.
That's awesome.
Yeah, way more fun in America fishing, I'll be honest with you.
Oh, I believe it. It's a cool country. I didn't realize how poisonous our food is over here till I went over there. Like, your food is so clean. It seems like.
Be honest, I think of you guys eating healthier. I mean, except the sugar.
There's
Yeah.
no way we're eating healthier over here, dude.
Well, it depends what you're
Just
eating.
depends because I gain more weight every time I'm back in Japan because the rice is
Oh, sure.
almost solid sugar, and the chemical has more regulation in America than it is in Japan. Trust
Really?
me. Yeah. So I mean, for the amount of food is less over there, but more taste in the small thing, right?
Yeah, I just noticed, like,
Could
you
you-
eat a cheeseburger over here and you'd feel like,
Yeah.
and then, like, you eat anything over there, you're like, I feel like I just took drugs.
Yeah. Don't ever think it's healthy. It's not.
Oh, fair enough.
That's just.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Teal doesn't want to be too healthy. Anyways.
Dude, you haven't lived till you had like a Wagyu steak or a Kobe beef over there. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
dude, they're expensive.
Yeah, I get the street one with the Wagyu
Oh,
steak
yeah,
on a
yeah.
stick.
Oh,
I-
that's not cow, but that's like a
Don't know what it
rat or
was, but I
something.
love it.
Okay, like
I
a
need it
Kobe's
again.
rat or something.
Yeah, because you guys, they farm that beef or something over there?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Because when you ship in the American beef right now over in Japan, it's more expensive than Wagyu.
Get the Wagyu all day.
Japanese
Like-
are so weak.
Sure.
You guys, honestly, a lot of our beef goes to Japan. Like we have,
Really?
we have some of the best beef in the world. Like all our real high end Black Angus
Go
stuff.
to Japan?
Yeah,
I never seen that good quality.
Really?
Be honest,
Eh.
you guys have way better meat here.
really.
Yeah.
Like a lot of our cattle go overseas. Maybe not all Japan, but
Like I never sold a premium grade
over there.
over there until Costco show up.
Really?
Yep.
You guys have Costco's over there?
What's that?
What was it?
You have Costco in Japan?
Yeah, we do a couple.
Oh,
I mean,
hell yeah.
several.
Do you have Amazon Prime?
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh,
But
nice.
about food wise, first time I saw the real good quality American beef was in the Costco USD Prime.
Yeah, I'll take a cold one.
But once you buy the Prime beef over there, it's more expensive than Wagyu.
Yeah.
So, but if you cutting thin, the Wagyu is good meat. to
Yeah, the
eat.
Wagyu's really good. It kind of reminds me of pork sometimes, though. Like,
Yeah,
I've only had it a few times, but it's so fatty, it's like eating a bacon
Yeah,
or
no,
something.
that,
yeah.
Felt
that's
like it melted in
because
my mouth.
that way they cut is like thin, right?
Yeah.
Because we don't. If you eat the like whole broccoli Wagyu,
Yeah.
it's a way too much.
Oh, yeah.
People only eat a couple slices of a ribeye, which is like real thin.
Yeah.
That's why we can, we can get a whole, or we need a more taste on that. But you eat that much amount, like 16 ounces and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want that much taste. So I honestly like this American beef on steaks, the big ones.
Sure.
But just all depends on how they cook it.
You like them octopus balls? Because I almost peeped those up.
Really?
In Osaka, I had this deep fried octopus ball. It looked like not an octopus ball. I didn't know it was an octopus ball. I ordered 8 of them. I'm
Yeah,
like,
but-
these things look pretty good, guys. Let's have some of these. And I take a bite. I'm like,
Chewy.
I think it's shrimp. And I pull it out, and the freaking octopus tentacles sticking out. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I tried it.
But you can eat calamari, right?
Sure, I'll try it.
That's the
Anything
same
once.
Well, what's the difference between?
I don't know. I've never been a big calamari guy.
Yeah, actually, the octopus tastes way better.
You like octopus?
I do.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to. I'd try it again.
The biggest
I want to
difference-
see it straight up. I don't.
Yeah.
Don't hide it from me. You know.
Biggest difference in the food culture is either you eat the host or not. You think that the host would be the like pad, right? But over in Japan, there some people eat it.
The what?
Host
Host?
host meat.
Oh,
horse. I got it.
Sorry.
No, that's
no.
house meat is the biggest difference.
They eat horse in Japan.
Oh,
They
yeah.
do some places.
Canada,
They're
going
gonna
to
tell me,
too.
right? That they're feeding
Probably
me
not.
horse.
Oh yeah,
No.
but I like the host.
You like horse?
Be honest.
Yeah.
We don't eat the dog. I mean, it's to me it's disgusting. But
Yeah,
if you
don't
go to
eat
China,
dogs.
they eat the dog too.
Oh my
Oh
God.
yeah. You can actually buy a rescue dog from getting eaten golden retriever from China. Do you know that?
Yeah,
Do
that's
they
what I heard.
actually like?
And it's cheaper than a golden retriever here, and you
Does
can
it-
save a dog's life.
Does it come all the way over, or do you just get a little paper saying I paid $100 and nothing else?
You get papers, and then it ship
Oh,
the
okay.
dog
At least
over.
the dog's coming
Yeah,
over.
yeah. You don't get like. No, they actually butcher it first and put
Yeah.
it in some grease before they send it
I
over.
can't do that.
No
It's a dog-
way,
Dog
no
or
way.
cat, no.
A cat's not too bad. You get them calicos, really not too bad.
Really?
No, I'm joking. Dude. No way.
This
No
guy's
way.
crazy. I told you.
Oh,
I am crazy, Kenta.
but host meat is actually pretty good.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd try it once.
In Canada, like in some of the fine restaurants, they serve horse.
Oh really? I didn't know that.
I mean, horses, there's not a lot of utility in horses like nowadays.
But less fat and
Sure. You eat the like horse rump, horse ribs. I bet you
Horse
get some
ribs.
horse ribs. Put some baby back horse ribs on a smoker.
I don't know. That's just a different style of meat. So
Yeah. You shake that death adder around a little bit. The Depp's death adder is that worm.
That's old school mid strolling bait.
Sure.
And that's still more popular than Sakamoto in some part of Lake Buell.
I was gonna say that.
Jig head, but you gotta have a way lighter jig head.
Sure.
Like a lot of people using like 132nd. And that's more big thing for the shore fishermen than boat fishermen guys, because they can go extremely slow, but still moving.
That makes sense.
Where's the Sakamoto?
As anglers, we develop special bonds with our equipment. There's something magical when you find that perfect jig rod and reel combo for a technique that elevates your confidence on the water. Whether it's a perfectly balanced, crisp, and sensitive jig rod that gives you the highest level of control over your bait, allows you to feel every grain of sand, every bite, and allows you to drive that hook clean, or a rod with the perfect action and taper that seems to keep your chatterbait, swim bait, or whatever it is in the back of the bass's head where it belongs no matter where you throw it, or a rod that allows you to effortlessly cast a lighter bait you used to cuss at on your old combo. These types of magical bonds are rare to find in a mass-produced sweatshop, which is why Veselka Fishing and Customs came to existence, with the sole purpose of bringing you closer to your passion by enhancing the bond with you, your rod, and the bass. Confidence is everything in bass fishing, and there's no bigger boner buster than losing a big fish, not feeling like you can present your bait correctly. The list goes on and on. Mr. Veselka is a full-blown artesian craftsman who can build you the perfect rod, no matter the size or action, custom, exactly the way you want it. He also has a wide variety to choose from right on his website, including fan favorites like the 8-foot hair jig rod, the drop shot rod, swim bait rod, the chatter chicken rod, the MH workhorse, and more. Even ice fishing. You do the whole frozen Swiss cheese thing, the ice fishing. Seen grumpy old men? Well, you can send that jiggle stick back to the antique store because Mr. Veselka builds custom ice rods in all sizes and actions too. So head on over to his website, veselkafishing.com. That's VOCELKA fishing.com to enhance your confidence on the water, feel your passion, and catch more bass, baby.
It slides too much.
It does. It does not hover like
So it's
a
more
Z2 or something.
Yeah, it's really more closer to the original mid-shoring
Sure.
than it is on the Sakamoto thing.
I always like the Sakamata when I have high flyers because I feel like it stays up real good.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like it does. I feel like it stays where it's at better.
But you can
way
keep
more.
it like, I mean, I'm talking high flyers. Like you'll get it where they'll be that far underneath the surface. Like it's easier to keep up there. You don't have to work it quite as fast.
Originally, people started doing the jig head minnows over in Japan.
Yeah.
You know what the original was?
No.
Gambler stat.
Really?
Gambler what?
Gambler stud or stat or whatever it's called. Like kind of like just a minnow shape.
Yep.
That's original.
That's crazy.
So basically, everything started with gambler stud.
That's crazy. I would have never guessed that.
came
Just ask
about.
Mike Sommer how many he sold.
Oh my god.
When he owns it,
Yeah.
I'm sure he sold a heck ton of them.
Yeah. So then the Sakamata comes out. Still, it was.
Yeah, that's way. I'm talking about gambler stud was popular in 25 years ago.
Wow.
That's when they started swimming that thing. Was a
Wow.
jig head.
We are so slow.
Where's a 5-pound test swallow?
Well,
we used to like reel it like that. Just
Really?
feel some heavy.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
didn't feel bite at all.
Sure.
Because we used it so
That's
little.
crazy. Like in the U.S., and I can't quote Brucey here, but where Brucey's from up in Kenora, so Canada, like that is original for us. Like there was guys 25, 30 years ago winning tournaments vertically in a
that's
tiller
Demiki thing.
boat with a Demiki
Yeah.
rig, right? Like it was,
That's how Gassy get really good at it, right?
yeah.
Well, like Easton Fothergill, Gordon Fothergill
Oh,
was hanging a minnow before sonar, before
Yeah.
all of that stuff,
You're talking
catching
about
them.
his dad.
His dad.
Yeah,
Really?
his dad and him. I mean, I don't know where they came from. I mean, I've
Grand
known
Rapids.
about them for a while. I know where they came from, but you didn't really hear about them.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, they just won every tournament.
Hmm.
Like his dad and him, even when he was little.
Hey, we beat him in a couple, just so you know. We beat,
Hey,
not every tournament.
I beat him the last time they went to Sturgeon Bay.
Yeah, dog.
I'm hoping he comes back.
He
this year.
is human, okay? I just want you to know that. He puts his pants on just like everybody else.
He's so good. Like, I mean, I'm so happy for him though. Like he's the story behind him and what he's all had to overcome, and I mean, it's a great story.
Dude, he was throwing a jig head with a non-swim bait on Pokegama before anybody
Yep.
was doing any of that. He must have been 14.
Oh yeah. I mean, and it's crazy. Like these, you see it all over the country, but you see it from state to state too, or regions of the state. Like certain anglers come from areas that are very good for fishing the rest of the country, and that Pokegama and that leech, so leech was a very good, bottom scoping leg, where Pokegama is a very good high flyer. So he had the best of both worlds. I grew up on Minnetonka where it's all grass. It's not not a scoping deal at all.
That's what I've noticed with scope coming out. We used to catch them on that outside grass line,
Right.
and they school up, and now they're just they go in their home now.
You can actually watch them just slither back.
They
It's
do.
a cool
I'm-
watch.
It is cool. To
It is
watch.
cool to watch.
People used to watching everything on 2D now.
Right. Well, that's just because the main brand in Japan is called like Hondex, right?
That's
Or is
old
that
school.
junk? Okay, Hondex is
I'm
their
not say
junk.
junk, but
Well.
that's old school.
So Garmin is able to put Japanese writing on like stuff for you guys over there.
Yeah, but I don't never use it. But that's how
Sure.
guys learn it.
You like you running the new Humminbird?
Yeah,
forward
that's
right
what
now?
I
You
like
like
it.
it?
Yeah,
Good.
I do. I definitely do.
What do you? So I know. So Garmin is my favorite,
Yeah.
but I know Lowrance has some really good forward facing, a
Uh-huh.
little bit better bottom separation and
Yeah.
stuff. So that's kind of, and then the Garmin seems to be better shallow and perspective and overall.
Mm-hmm.
How would you compare? I guess because I've been asked about it, I'm like, I have no idea. I've never tried it. So
I mean, how many guys in the elite has it? I don't know. I'm one of them.
Yeah.
And I would say, I mean, I'm not a big scoping guy.
Yeah.
You know that. But,
yeah, Buster K, baby.
But been using it for 3 months now, and I'm still kind of trying to find out the setup. I've been using the way too high sensitivity in the past 2 tournaments. I just kind of started dropping a little bit. But the whole key on the Mega Live is you gotta adjust the angle of the transducer.
Sure.
So, I mean, a lot of guys was complaining about shallow being, just raise it up.
Notch it up 1 or 2 notches.
Yeah, 1 or 2. Just it had to like less than 10 foot, just go ratchet up once.
Yeah.
And it had to less than 5 foot, do it twice. That's it. So it's really simple.
Easy.
And simple and easy. And be honest, I can see more suspending fish than ever.
Really.
Yep. And I'm still trying to find out how to do the bottom separation. I think it'll be in the dynamic contrast, or maybe I don't think it'll be just a regular contrast. Maybe it's just combination between dynamic contrast and the sensitivity. So if you get that figured them up, we already talking about it with the engineer guys, and I've got a bunch of things to try, but
Cool.
I definitely like it.
When you put it up, the only thing Easton was telling me this, like the only thing that changes is the distance. Does that, you know what I mean? You tilt it up, and 50 feet is now, 45 or something like that. Is it the distance away because you're tilting it up? Not to get complicated or overthink here, but like, do you have to adjust?
How far out you're shooting?
Is 50 feet not 50 feet when you click it up?
Yeah.
Is it still 50 feet away, or is it
Yeah.
45 or 55?
No, it would always be 50.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll be 50. So yeah, I mean, just depends it's sweet spot on that beam, so you gotta give to it where you want it. That's
Sure.
it.
There's so much. Kenta was showing me a little trick on my live scope, that color gain thing. I never
limit.
Yeah, color
So
limit.
that's
I
very
never,
similar with it.
I never messed with it before, and I start really messing with it now, and it really helps with bottom separation.
Sure.
But it's like it's interesting how every body of water you go to, you constantly have to be tweaking things.
Really?
You know?
I think it just really depends what size of bait you saw and what lake you're in. So I'm not saying this is bad.
No,
for anyone
there's
in the
no way you
country or
can.
Nothing like that. You just gotta mess with it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
get used to it. That's whole key, because some guys say, I can see just as good or better with a live target or
Right.
whatever. So you just gotta get used to it.
That
Just-
makes sense.
Just don't bitch about it.
I know, right?
I hear
There's
ya.
plenty of that in this world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so-
Yeah. So what do you do outside of fishing? What do you like to do?
Just
We're-
fishing. That's all I do.
He's gonna start hunting. I'm going to Japan.
Yeah,
What am I hunting in Japan? Bear or something?
Deer, but
Deer.
I don't know if they let you have the gun over there.
We'll just sneak it in.
Dude, that sounds awesome. I didn't know they do camping over there. Like
Camping?
Yeah.
Yeah, but not like you guys.
Not a
do.
lot, yeah,
Oh, dude,
yeah.
you guys have way better culture on camping. And
I think you
hunting.
should start a crawfish company. It should be called Kenta's Crawfish.
I really thought about it, but they put that crawfish on some kind of like a bass. You can't move the live crawfish in the
Japan,
land.
yeah.
Even in the country, we already
Really?
got that, and it's too late. It's been there for freaking 100 years, but now they put them in the some kind of red wrist or whatever. You can't move that live.
You can't
crawfish
take them
in
out
the
of the
country.
water?
I'm like, what?
Do
You can't even move them to your plate. Like you're doing them a favor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
do you
nice.
think, since we're talking crawfish, do you think what do we have, the rusty craws up in Minnesota? Do you think they're edible?
What?
The
what
rusty craws?
Absolutely.
Is it?
Really?
What's the last scroll?
Rusty? So we have them in Vermilion. When you were on Leech last
Oh
year,
yeah,
you
that
saw them?
brew pincher one.
Yeah, do you think you can eat those?
That's a little tiny. Yeah.
No, there's
So the
big
rusties
ones.
are big. They're more orange and kind of amber.
What about brew one?
The blue ones are natural. Those are kind of the natural native ones up
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Minnesota. The
that's-
rusties are invasive, but they're much bigger.
There's
much
some
bigger.
brew one over there in Japan, and no saying of it, they're eating good.
See, to me, I feel like Minnesota crawfish would taste. I see where they get them crawfish. It's
I
out of a
don't know
mud
hole.
It's like.
Why don't
I'm
you
like-
guys do it? Just trap them.
We like
should.
Vermilion.
We need to.
When we go up to Vermilion
Champions
for
Tour?
Champs Tour, we'll just throw a crawfish thing out. Like you can put one. They'll attack your crankbaits. Anything you throw. out. They'll get your jerk baits. They're so aggressive.
Really?
Yeah.
Literally.
The big brew one does.
No, they're
little-
they're big orange.
Look at this. But the rusties get.
But you can
edible.
put like a trap out at the end of the dock, and there'll be like thousands.
Yeah,
in
I
it.
mean, how many tube they has been ripped? I mean, they ripped out all my max sand.
Oh yeah,
They hit the bottom, they just freaking ripped
They're
it.
like a goby, but more.
Even worse. I mean, I just caught it the whole thing.
I want to hear a cool smallmouth trick that people probably don't know that you utilize. If you're willing to share it, I think you got a couple. I bet.
I mean,
Throw a glide bait. No.
no. I mean, I wish that I knew it. I'll be honest. I mean, been trying several different things, but they just keep changing.
They
You
do,
know,
yeah.
used to caught them just as fine on nickel, but not anymore. You got to do something else.
Sure.
So you, when we were at Kentucky, Kenta had he's testing out some swim baits, and he was boiling some water
Cool.
and trying to get it
Straight up.
all right. But you did some work with that new Megabass 5-incher, right?
Oh yeah,
Like
I mean,
that.
just that.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit.
That thing
a-
wouldn't run right before, right? Or the
Yeah,
original.
or you couldn't really too fast.
Yeah.
But now you can. More like you're gonna have more speed range between the
Which is a big
between the
deal.
slow roll and the maybe medium fast. I would say.
Cool. So what do you have to adjust from the original to get it to do that? Like what in your
I mean,
head?
I didn't do it. I just tested them out, and
Yep.
I like it a lot, the newer version, because of that, not the just one speed. You can either go to extreme and slow, or you can go medium fast. So
Did they add weight to the like keel of it, or more change the tail?
yeah, just a tail.
Different tail.
Yeah,
Got it.
completely different. You
Cool.
can compare it because the Leuthner 5-inch was more like very similar with 6-inch, but didn't have enough weight to hold it. So you could add a weight on the middle and make it work.
Sure.
But the new version works just so easy, you know.
Well, and that's probably the right size for where we're at.
Yeah, that's.
I love catching them on that bigger one in the fall.
Yeah.
Like the freestyle is actually the one I really like where we're at.
I
because of the
like
grass.
that twitching that 5 inches too. Like
Really?
you remember when I
Oh,
was
yeah,
there?
yeah.
How do you do that? What is that? How's that work?
Kind of like a minnow. You can just
Really?
throw it out there. And,
You're shaking a mag draft
yeah.
bag?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can do that
I
with
watched him
5
do
inch.
it the other couple of weeks ago on this pond I brought Kenta to, and he was messing him up on it.
How's it look? Does it look dumb or good?
No, it looks real good.
It looks even. I mean, I like the weight.
Cool.
You know, more than the just straight retrieve.
And are they gonna? So I mean, that was always my problem with the 6-incher. I love it, but it's kind of like a.
It's just
it
different.
didn't run like the 8-incher runs awesome, right? And that 6-incher never seemed to be quite that good. The 5-incher though is that good. Are they gonna change up that 6 a little bit or?
No, actually, I like the 6 better.
I was
Really?
gonna say that's the one I
Huh.
throw.
I mean, that must
But I'm
be
doing
weird.
the cold water slow roll with
Yeah,
it, which is
yeah.
what it was.
Probably
it's good at
80%
that.
people in the Prime likes a 6.
Really?
Yep.
I don't know. That's crazy to me.
I don't know. It
Different
just depends
strokes?
how
Yeah, everyone.
fast
That's,
you living
that's
or what's the tackle.
maybe I was going too fast with it.
Yeah, that for sure. If you do that,
Yeah.
it'll messes up. So
Yeah.
they'll always tell the people just not deadly slow, but his bait goes like sideways. It's way too,
Too
fast.
fast, yeah.
Way too fast.
Yeah.
So
That's what I think. Like that guy who made the grass piece, like the fact that there's not really a tolerance with it. You can burn that thing as fast as you want, and it doesn't blow out.
Yeah,
like there's something to that, especially with down south and
Yeah.
making fish react. I gotta imagine smallmouth like
my,
that.
my favorite size in grass piece is like 3/4.
Yeah, heavier one.
Heavier.
Yeah,
You gotta go heavier.
absolutely. Have you thrown the flex much?
I mean, it's still like the original.
Yep,
version,
yep.
just as good because it gets through way better than anything.
Yeah, it does, and I think that-
Either the middle pat field or stick of grass. You remember I made the cuts once at the Raven
Yep.
in the fall. That was like I was fishing like that close from surface.
Wow.
3/4.
Hydro 3/4 just spun it.
Kind of like the 3/4 ounce chatterbug for those smallmouths, though. Like as fast as you can crank it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I hope that guy doesn't get ripped off by, like, what's gonna happen, but I just don't want it to.
It happens to everyone.
Yeah, how do the Japanese feel about like American tackle companies copying all your shit?
That's
And
always happened. So
what?
they copy it too. So,
Oh, fair enough.
yeah,
It goes
I know.
both ways.
It really seems like Japan really strives to, like, for originality, though. You know what I mean? Like, they're not obvious about it.
Yeah, but all the bass fishing is originated from America.
Everything comes from something, right?
Yeah.
Everything comes from something.
Yeah, I'm not.
Well, I think what we're seeing now is, I mean, the big change for me since I started fishing to now, like when I first started, you wanted as much tackle as humanly possible, right? And now it seems like the more high-end, real detail orientated, and I think you're seeing that change. I mean, I think that's why Japanese companies are so popular right now. They're making these specialized baits, and I think that's where you're seeing the market go with all that. It's not so much the mass, it's like what works and what's really good.
And that's what I love about what you're working on too, Bradley, is because we
Yes.
need that in America. Private equity is you could say they're a bad thing, but it's a good thing because they're leaving room for quality and
Correct.
specialized products to come back into the marketplace. The little guy like me that just needs a small little piece of pie, that makes a little room for guys like us, you know?
I always liked them. A lot of Minnesota companies, jigs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a way better quality than that.
I mean, me and a bunch of guys I grew up with fishing, I mean, we we learned how to fish grass, and we fished a lot of it. And
You got plenty of time in the wintertime.
we got a lot of time to think about it. Like,
Oh yeah. There's a reason I'm crazy, Kenta. It's called winter.
We need 62 strands, not 60. You know, we think about that all winter long.
Right.
Have you thrown one of his hair jigs yet?
And I mean, he just gave me, so I want to try it.
Shit's junk. Don't throw it. I'm just kidding. No, that's a.
But that, you know,
real
like
good with that.
some people start doing it, so that's could be a good deal.
I think hair is going to you're going to see, I mean, obviously I love tying hair and like creating with hair and kind of my deal. But as trends go along in the next 5 years, I see a lot more hair playing. And hair is really difficult because you can't, it's really, really, really hard to mass produce.
You can't mass produce it.
No.
So it's very time consuming. It's very, I've been tying for 15 years. I still, like every time I try something new, it's still a work. I go try it, see if this works. But I'm getting to learn a lot about flow and certain hairs together and how it all reacts. But it's like, I go tie a hair jig. I'm lucky if I can do 5 an hour. So what's the price on that? It's
takes me a half hour to do one, but it's damn good when it's done. That's why I'll just time for me.
Yeah. So I mean, you see there's some trends coming, and I think it's going to replace some minnow fishing. I think you're going to see a big play on big hair jigs again. I think that's kind of a secret going on again in the higher levels. Like hair catches big ones.
I mean, KVD, everybody says that the 6XD made KVD, but little do they know.
They want a lot of money on a
Big
hair
hair jig is what made KVD.
Really?
And yeah, I don't know what he paid Bassmaster to cut that bait out of all the coverage of him winning tournaments.
Yeah.
But they helped him win more by keeping that bait secret for him.
Absolutely. That's how I got started on it, honest to God, was that Kentucky Bass Fest. There's one little shot where he popped it out and you see a fluff flying by. I'm like, that's a great idea.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's like crazy. I've actually done really well cold water, little football jig with hair on it, and dragging it slow. If you want to have fun smallmouth fishing, come up. Well, you like the
I
cold?
always love it.
Will you bundle up and still
Yeah,
fish?
he'll fish.
If you're willing to bundle up, it's some of the best
Dude,
smallmouth
but I
fishing.
got too many tournaments to fish.
That's fair.
In the year.
Because you're fishing elites. What else you fish?
Open too, but I might just fishing somewhere else in the open.
You're fishing the
this
club
year.
derby with me on Tuesday up north, right? I need a club derby partner, Kenta.
And I got to go to South Carolina after that. That's way too much.
I'll get the plane ticket. No, I'm just kidding, dude.
No,
I wish the Bassmaster is gonna have some out here nose and bound.
Yeah.
I wish, but it never happened. We
Yeah.
always go to start it at Florida.
Well, we'll have to check out your schedule when you come up to Leech because we'll have to get out.
oh
and do
yeah,
some more
it's
fishing.
it's
I'm gonna have
right
to
in the middle
trap some
of the
crawfish.
between two elite events.
Oh yeah,
right
but
in
you're
the
just
middle.
going down to lacrosse. So
Yeah,
it's
so
close.
after that,
After that,
I'll
we're
be-
gonna hang out.
Yeah.
I just need to know a week in advance so I can have 3 days of crawfish trapping.
You
for
better
Kenta.
get.
Yeah.
If you want to see something special, Kenta is the best crawfish eater I've ever seen.
And see, they overcooked mine the other day,
Yeah.
and you overcook that stuff, you can't freaking get
Yeah,
the meat
that's-
out.
that's-
So I was like, so I could learn a thing or two from
Dude,
you on that.
we got, what did we get, 3 pounds at the stump, I think, that one night.
Yeah, we did.
We each got 3 pounds. Kenta was like, I think cracking his last one. I think I had like 4 done. He went through 3 pounds before I got like 5 done.
So you're quick.
Yeah,
You're
but
efficient.
I'm sure I can't beat Keith Shea. He's probably
You're probably the fastest person in Japan that eats crawfish.
I think
yeah, I can
you
tell.
are a bass dude.
Yeah.
Crawfish heavy diet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Well, I think I might have to go back to the show.
Yeah,
So-
we're gonna wrap up. I just have one last thought. Why don't they have an elite on Tonka? Because I really would love to see the modern day elite series break down Lake Minnetonka.
just tell the mayor of the.
Yeah,
that
it's
city.
money. I
Yeah.
mean, it's always
You
money.
got-
Whoever
you always
pays the
get-
most gets the most.
I don't got wet enough lips or enough lube on my hands for that mayor, but
I would honestly, I would love to see Bassman. I mean, do a
Mille Lacs
class.
is where I want to go.
Vermil-
It's a start
no.
limit. Just do like
Vermilion is where you want to go.
Yeah,
With
no, you
Vermilion?
Vermilion.
Vermilion's
You
the
like,
best.
crankbait? You
Even
like
be-
throwing a crankbait?
yeah.
Vermilion.
Is it? Are they even better than Mille Lacs?
What-
They're smaller.
They're smaller, but there's way more opportunity in the fish. I mean, the lake fish is way bigger.
Lake fish is bigger.
Really?
And
there's
it's like
bass
being
everywhere.
in Canada. It has islands, glaciers,
No,
lots.
you talk about the one in the border between the Canada and the.
No,
America
it's kind of close. I if we get time, I want to take you up to Pelican.
Oh my.
I want to go to Pelican with Kenta because I was telling him about 4 or 5 pound smallies, 4 or 5 pound largies,
Same
crushing,
school?
same school, crushing chatterbait. It
They'll
don't matter
set the
how
hook on
you catch
themselves
it.
for
Yeah.
an hour. You don't even need to set the hook. They
Yeah,
set
why
it
would you
themselves.
ever come down here fishing?
What
This
are
is
we
where
doing
the
here?
This is where the money's at. Why would you come from Japan? Or
If you wanna
this is where
fish
the money
for-
is.
Better fishing is America.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
If
Oh,
you want to,
maybe Canada.
Canada's
Canada has
better.
way better.
if you want to fish for a living, you have to fish the South.
Yeah.
You
We
have
don't.
to.
We don't have like.
That's the same way for West Coast guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have like. If you want sponsors, you want to play the game, you have to fish national events, and we don't have national events.
Right.
That or you have to be a podcaster and bartend and do this and do that.
Right.
Yeah, you got to be dumb like me to
That's
live up where
that's
we're
pretty much
at.
everybody's in the same area with the same reason
Yeah.
from all over the world.
That's
So-
right.
And what I love about it is like in my wildest dreams did I ever think I'd be buddies with a guy from Japan.
Why?
Like, on-
You racist? I'm just kidding.
No, like just how fishing like brings
People
so
together.
many people together from different cultures, different backgrounds. I mean, that's what makes our sport really great.
Dude, it's so cool. This is so cool. I love that shit. And I'm just wondering, like, I think they bass fish in Italy, Korea,
Oh, yeah.
Africa,
Africa for sure.
Australia.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. But here's the deal, Bradley, we need to get him back to work. And
Yes.
Kenta, this was such an honor. Cheers, you guys.
All right.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
us.
All right. Kenta, I have one last question for
Yeah,
you.
What's up?
Do you believe in aliens?
Not really.
Not really?
No, really.
No? They don't got UFOs over in Japan?
That's what they said, but I never seen it with my eye.
This is Teal's Bass Galaxy checking in, checking out.